A market is one of the many varieties of systems, institutions, procedures, social relations and infrastructures whereby parties engage in exchange. While parties may exchange goods and services by barter, most markets rely on sellers offering their goods or services in exchange for money from buyers. It can be said that a market is the process by which the prices of goods and services are established. Markets facilitate trade and enables the distribution and allocation of resources in a society. Markets allow any tradable item to be evaluated and priced. A market emerges more or less spontaneously or may be constructed deliberately by human interaction in order to enable the exchange of rights of services and goods. Markets can differ by products or factors sold, product differentiation, place in which exchanges are carried, buyers targeted, duration, selling process, government regulation, taxes, subsidies, minimum wages, price ceilings, legality of exchange, liquidity, intensity of speculation, size, concentration, information asymmetry, relative prices, volatility and geographic extension. The geographic boundaries of a market may vary considerably, for example the food market in a single building, the real estate market in a local city, the consumer market in an entire country, or the economy of an international trade bloc where the same rules apply throughout. Markets can also be worldwide, for example the global diamond trade. National economies can be classified, for example as developed markets or developing markets. In mainstream economics, the concept of a market is any structure that allows buyers and sellers to exchange any type of goods, services and information. The exchange of goods or services, with or without money, is a transaction. Market participants consist of all the buyers and sellers of a good who influence its price, which is a major topic of study of economics and has given rise to several theories and models concerning the basic market forces of supply and demand. A major topic of debate is how much a given market can be considered to be a free market, that is free from government intervention. Microeconomics traditionally focuses on the study of market structure and the efficiency of market equilibrium, when the latter is not efficient. Then economists say that a market failure has occurred. However, it is not always clear how the allocation of resources can be improved since there is always the possibility of government failure. Types of markets. A market is a group of buyers and sellers, where buyers determine the demand and sellers determine the supply. Together with the means whereby they exchange their goods or services is called the market. There are some example markets given below. Although many markets exist in their traditional sense, such as a marketplace, there are various other types of markets and various organizational structures to assist their functions. The nature of business transactions could be used to define different markets. Markets of varying types can spontaneously arise whenever a party has interest in a good or service that some other party can provide. Hence there can be a market for cigarettes in correctional facilities, another for chewing gum in a playground, and yet another for contracts for the future delivery of a commodity. There can be black markets, where a good is exchanged illegally. For example, markets for goods under a command economy despite pressure to repress them, and virtual markets, such as eBay, in which buyers and sellers do not physically interact during negotiation. A market can be organized as an auction, as a private electronic market, as a commodity wholesale market, as a shopping center, as a complex institution such as a stock market, and as an informal discussion between two individuals. Markets vary in form, scale, location, and types of participants, as well as the types of goods and services traded. The following is a non-exhaustive list. Physical consumer markets, food retail markets, farmers markets, fish markets, wet markets and grocery stores. Retail marketplaces. Public markets, market squares, main streets, high streets, bazaars, souks, night markets, shopping centers and shopping malls. Big box stores. supermarkets, hypermarkets and discount stores. Ad hoc auction markets. Process of buying and selling goods or services by offering them up for bid, taking bids, and then selling the item to the highest bidder. Used goods markets such as flea markets. Temporary markets such as fairs. Physical business markets, physical wholesale markets. Sale of goods or merchandise to retailers, to industrial, commercial, institutional, or other professional business users or to other wholesalers and related subordinated services. Markets for intermediate goods used in production of other goods and services. Labor markets, where people sell their labor to businesses in exchange for a wage. Ad hoc auction markets. Process of buying and selling goods or services by offering them up for bid, taking bids, and then selling the item to the highest bidder. Temporary markets such as trade fairs. Non-physical markets. Media markets is a region where the population can receive the same television and radio station offerings, and may also include other types of media including newspapers and internet content. Internet markets. Trading in products or services using computer networks, such as the Internet. Artificial markets created by regulation to exchange rights for derivatives that have been designed to ameliorate externalities, such as pollution permits. Financial markets. Financial markets facilitate the exchange of liquid assets. Most investors prefer investing in two markets: the stock markets, for the exchange of shares in corporations, and the bond markets. There are also currency markets are used to trade one currency for another, and are often used for speculation on currency exchange rates. The money market is the name for the global market for lending and borrowing. Futures markets, where contracts are exchanged regarding the future delivery of goods, are often an outgrowth of general commodity markets. Prediction markets are a type of speculative market in which the goods exchanged are futures on the occurrence of certain events. They apply the market dynamics to facilitate information aggregation. Unauthorized and illegal markets. Gray markets is the trade of a commodity through distribution channels which, while legal, are unofficial, unauthorized, or unintended by the original manufacturer. Markets in illegal goods such as the market for illicit drugs, illegal arms, pirated products, cigarettes sold to minors or untaxed cigarettes, or the private sale of unpasteurized goat milk. Mechanisms of markets. In economics, a market that runs under laissez-faire policies is called the free market. It is free from the government, in the sense that the government makes no attempt to intervene through taxes, subsidies, minimum wages, price ceilings, etc. However, market prices may be distorted by a seller or sellers with monopoly power, or a buyer with monopsony power. Such price distortions can have an adverse effect on market participants' welfare and reduce the efficiency of market outcomes. Also, the relative level of organization and negotiating power of buyers and sellers markedly affects the functioning of the market. Markets are a system, and systems have structure. The structure of a well-functioning market is defined by the theory of perfect competition. Well-functioning markets of the real world are never perfect, but basic structural characteristics can be approximated for real-world markets. For example, many small buyers and sellers. Buyers and sellers have equal access to information. Products are comparable. Markets where price negotiations meet equilibrium, but the equilibrium is not efficient are said to experience market failure. Market failures are often associated with time inconsistent preferences, information asymmetries, non-perfectly competitive markets, principal agent problems, externalities, or public goods. Among the major negative externalities which can occur as a side effect of production and market exchange are air pollution and environmental degradation. There exists a popular thought, especially among economists, that free markets would have a structure of a perfect competition. The logic behind this thought is that market failures are thought to be caused by other exogenic systems, and after removing those exogenic systems, the free markets could run without market failures. For a market to be competitive, there must be more than a single buyer or seller. It has been suggested that two people may trade, but it takes at least three persons to have a market, so that there is competition in at least one of its two sides. However, competitive markets, as understood in formal economic theory, rely on much larger numbers of both buyers and sellers. A market with a single seller and multiple buyers is a monopoly. A market with a single buyer and multiple sellers is a monosyny. These are the polar opposites of perfect competition. As an argument against such a logic, there is a second view that suggests that the source of market failures is inside the market system itself. Therefore, the removal of other interfering systems would not result in markets with a structure of perfect competition. As an analogy, such an argument may suggest that capitalists don't want to enhance the structure of markets, just like a coach of a football team would influence the referees or would break the rules if he could while he is pursuing his target of winning the game. Thus, according to this view, capitalists are not enhancing the balance of their team versus the team of consumer workers. So the market system needs a referee from outside that balances the game. In this second framework, the role of a referee of the market system is usually to be given to a democratic government.